Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. My name is Julissa.
And I'm Michael.
And we're so excited to have you with us today as we talk about going from La Verne to the Super Bowl.
That's right, Julissa. And to help us learn what that's like, we have one of our esteemed alumni joining us today. She's the CEO of Brightworks, Inc. She started the company after being laid off at her previous company due to downsizing with only $700 and 3 vacuum cleaners. And today she employs 190 associates who provide commercial janitorial services to high-profile companies such as Coca-Cola, Disney, and of course her affiliations with the Super Bowl. Now, without further ado, let's please welcome Anita Ron.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Julissa and Michael, for being able to join you and just talk about a little bit of my experiences and my experience as well as here at the University of La Verne.
Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Anita. We're thrilled to have you with us here to share your story about going from La Verne to the Super Bowl. And we have some questions that we'd like to ask you to learn a little bit more about what that was like. So we would want to start with your La Verne roots. Michael, would you kick us off?
Of course. So, Anita, you graduated La Verne in 1988 with a journalism degree, but you ended up in entrepreneurship. So how did your journalism training at La Verne prepare you for your success in business?
My journalism degree here at La Verne actually was that turning point that made me understand how much I like hanging around people, how much I was able to go out and do my research, and in addition, get to network and meet people and grow that caliber of knowledge. Being able to communicate with people effectively actually just gave me the appropriate skills that I needed in order to be an entrepreneur, because as an entrepreneur, you actually have to wear all different hats of opening up a business. And if you're a journalist, you're starting from scratch and you're building everything up until you get the final article out. And so for me, it was just like another assignment that I had to complete. Mm-hmm. And I continued with it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Can you take us back to the pivotal moment in 1996 where you were laid off? And then do you mind talking a little bit about how you decided to start your business?
Well, I think, starting my business, I've always had a love of always wanting to be an entrepreneur, but just didn't know how to do it. In fact, I should have taken courses in business when I was here at the University of La Verne, but just being the person I am and enjoying hanging around and networking and talking to people and the enticement of just the exciting component of getting to know people, journalism was one of the things that opened me up. But those skills actually, I knew way back in my head that someday I wanted to have my own business. And I think here at the University of La Verne actually gave me some tools that I could use. I got very active with the organization that was here, which was Marriott, and I became a student worker. And that was one way because I needed to get extra money to put myself through college. But being able to use those management skills that I got as a student worker actually gave me some of the tools that I was going to use as an entrepreneur. So getting out of the University of La Verne and graduating, I took an opportunity to work for an organization that was working here. And I was able to work with one of their affiliates in the Northern California. And I took a little bit of those seeds and then went into other divisions within the organization. And doing that, and when in 1996, after working several years with them and already being a food service consultant and going into organizations that were in the red, and we would get them in the black and actually be able to have a really established business within their food service program, their national nutrition program for kids. It gave me an opportunity to see all the things, what it takes to run a business, how to manage a business, how to manage employees. So when I ventured out, when I had the unfortunate situation that I was laid off, I had to make a decision. Did I want to go into another division within the organization, or did I want to do what I told myself I wanted to do way back when I was a kid at 13? I want to start a business. And I thought at one moment it was going to be in the food service industry, but what happened was the knowledge that I had and the knowledge of, individuals within my family. My husband his family came from janitorial services. And with the minimal amount of money that I had, I thought, well, you know what? There's no opportunity then today. So I went ahead and started the janitorial business. Was it scary? Yeah, it was truly, truly scary. I had a mortgage that we had just got our house, and that was a year before. So I needed to make sure I paid it off, paid my mortgage payment. My husband had not finished graduating from college himself, and we were going through this. Okay, we got to make sure we got to do something. And having been a mom of a 6-year-old and a 6-month old, that alone, you would say, there's no way this person is going to be able to survive or even be able to grow an organization such as mine. But it was just the determination. And what I did, I used my entrepreneur skills, or I would say my journalism skills, and I talked to everybody, calling them up, all my network, people in the professional industries, and saying, hey, I'm starting a business and I'm going to grow it. And my company's called Brightworks. And from nothing, just the $700, the 3 vacuum cleaners, and just the determination that I could not fail made me continue the process and growth of building a business. Was it scary? Yes. And I just feel if anybody wants to be in that entrepreneur area in their life, then you have that gumption that something's telling you, I want to do it, I need to do it. Don't wait. Start planning things and make it a reality.
Thank you for sharing.
It's kind of scary, huh?
Yeah, it makes me think about a lot of students on campus, because me, myself, I eventually in the future want to start my own business. And so a question that I just thought of right now is, how would you describe your leadership style? Because being able to go from just you starting a company to having about 200 associates says a lot about you as a leader. So I'm curious how you would describe your leadership style.
Well, first of all, I just want to say something going in a different direction, but I just think the students here at University of La Verne are so fortunate. And this is not a plug of any sort. But what organization, there's SBDC here. Mm-hmm. So if I was a student here, I would take advantage of that small business center. And I would try to learn everything from all the business owners that are coming in to try to get assistance, or the coaching that they're giving to other business owners. Take advantage of it. Right. Come in with your ideas. I want to start a business in the food industry. Well, there's a lot of knowledge that is there. I want to start a business in the technology, AI. Well, there's a lot of knowledge there that is already starting. There's knowledge there that is already set up. So it's basically becoming a sponge. For me, as a leader, I kind of want to say that I don't want to be the smartest in the room, right? And believe me, I'm not. I don't want to take control only when there's a need for me to take control. I don't want to have other people feel intimidated. I want everybody to have a voice in the room. And so for me, I think I work much more effective as a leader when I know that there's others in the room that are actually taking part, that the synergy grows, and there's a parking lot there that they could actually stop and become a team member. They can give their advice and ideas, and we could actually establish something much better than it would be just me alone coming up with those ideas.
Right.
That's what a leader is being more effective together than anything else.
That's awesome. The strength in numbers, of course. One thing that I wanted to ask is, so Brightworks has grown from just 3 vacuum cleaners to, like I said, about 200 associates. Now, what has been the most critical decisions that enabled that type of scale of growth for Brightworks?
Well, I know there was some hurdles there. Like one of them was my husband had told me if I didn't start making revenues that would fulfill later down in the road, I actually took a line of credit on my house, an equity line, and I needed to pay it up in 3 years. That was what he said. If you don't pay it up in 3 years, then Brightworks will no longer be in existence. That he didn't want to have a part of it. And sometimes that happens to a lot of entrepreneurs, that their spouse is not 100% in after the business is running. And at the beginning, it's fine. They're excited. But when the excitement wears away, you still have to do it. So for me, he said I had 3 years or the business was going to shut down. And I'm a very stubborn woman, as you can tell. So for me, it was like, no, I put my name on all these contracts, and I was going to make sure that all my clients got the service that I said I was going to perform. So that 3-year term that he gave me, I finished that paying an $80,000 debt in a year. And it was just, how did you do it? Is being connected to the right people, using sources like, some of the programs that were out there at the time, some SBA, some of the SCORE programs. I was going to a CEO forum and getting knowledge with other CEOs. Anything that could help me give me leverage, being a part of many professional organizations that were actually supporting me and giving me knowledge on, you should get certified in this component, you should do this. And I was actually not developing things on my own. I was getting an understanding of what other entrepreneurs had done that were sharing, and then taking those knowledge-based things and putting them in my business. And as things went on, like I'm going to lease my my first office space. Well, getting knowledge of how it happened or what other people did gave me the opportunity to write my own program on my own.
That's awesome.
Thank you. And your company now services major events like the Super Bowl and clients like Disney and Coca-Cola. How did you transition from those local jobs to these more prestigious contracts?
Looking for opportunities, and that's where my research comes in. That's where journalism comes in. That's where my affiliations with people, connections. You find out that there's an opportunity for small businesses with Business Connect that is willing, and LA Business Connect that is willing to have small businesses have the opportunity to work with affiliations for Super Bowl. And it was our opportunity that we went through a panel interview. We went through all the processes that we needed to do so they could say, you know what, we're going to give this small business an opportunity to actually be a part of it as somewhat. And so we were able to do that. And we did a lot of the cleaning services pre and post.
Thank you for sharing.
That's great. And so you mentioned that you weave La Verne values into your workplace. So how do you empower your 200 associates to become leaders in their own communities?
That is a story in itself. I think when I started the business and just knowing that I wanted to grow it, I wanted to have employees, I wanted them to make a difference and being able to empower them and them being leaders in their community. I think it sets precedence what you do and how you do your work, that they become more wanting to be kind of similar or doing their own want or need, but in a spin of them being leaders. And I say this because as we started giving them the tools and knowledge of how to make sure things were being adequately taken care of within the organization, as we started giving them the responsibility to go back and check and redo and make sure that things were being covered by the scope of work that we were utilizing within our organization to meet the needs of the clients, they started growing. And they started going out there and reaching out as they saw me being a part of volunteering within my community, being a part of boards in organizations. One of them very early on was the YWCA, and I used to volunteer for them and was on their board, became their president, and was constantly the Lions Club, West Covina Lions Club, constantly going back and trying to serve and become that steward in the community. They started seeing that as well. And what that actually did was actually give them a voice as well. And I think it was like, if she could do it, I could do it. So then I started seeing that they were doing things within their own community, their own churches, their own, soccer. They were soccer coaches, and it just started growing and blossoming, and it just was so exciting. I think one time that was a pivot for me was when we have our staff meetings, we bring in all our employees and they all get together and we do our general meeting, our annual meeting. And we do a little bit of training. We did a little bit of connecting and giving things that are going to change or what worked and what didn't for the year and for last year. And then later we do a little bit of celebration because every year meant a lot to us. But there was one year that I had the fortunate experience to be in the back of the auditorium, in the back of the room, instead of the front. And I was seeing a lot of my employees taking the role of being on the stage, taking the role of training other employees within my organization. And there was a point that we thought, why not be able to focus on what they're doing as well? So we started doing the volunteer award, the volunteer service award, and we gave it out that year. And being in the back, I was seeing that. And I started seeing, oh my God, what did I create? You see all these people in the back and you're seeing their backs and you're seeing, my goodness. And I'm looking at a video that we did for one of our employees that he volunteered in his church and they collected medical equipment. And it really put an impact in me saying, I could really make a difference. We all could make a difference. We could all change and make a better community and make a better place for all. And I put my footprint first. And now look how many footprints are coming behind me. Right. And so that was just like, and it gives me goosebumps because I knew that we were going to be here for a long time. And what we were doing was not only providing cleaning services, but we were providing something that was really needed, that we could really take a program such as cleaning, but really have the philosophy of providing it to clean out the environment for many. And I had a group of people that believed in the same thing I did, the same mission. And that's when you start creating that energy, that's energy that just grows.
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
Everything that you just said right now, it kind of shows like BrightWorks is more than just a company, but it's like a community builder. And you're very humble, but it seems like your values has really created that community builder that BrightWorks has become.
One of the things that just later down, you see some of your employees that first generation, and then they come back to you and they tell you, my daughter is going to be graduating from XYZ school and she's going to be, she's getting this computer science degree. And then you could just say, wow. And then the next year it's a couple more that are telling you this. And then you could say, like, you know what? This is good. BrightWorks is going to be here to help and support and be a part of our community. And just even now, we have people that are still, going out there on boards, at their local elementary schools that they were a part of it when they were growing up. And they're trying to make a difference. And they're doing volunteering. Wow. And that's what all it takes, right?
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Well, that's very inspiring. Thank you for sharing. Our next question is a little bit about some of the challenges that may have, arose during COVID-19. So we know that the cleaning industry, faced some unique challenges during that period of time. How did BrightWorks and your team kind of adapt and change during those times during COVID-19?
Well, we did adapt. And I guess we were kind of in the right situation, in the right time, at the right place. But that's on the outside looking in. The reason why I say the right situation, the right time, is because we already had close to 26 years in business, right? And so we had the knowledge. I wasn't just coming out and saying, we can do it and we're the whatchamacallit organization that we know what we're doing. Actually, we knew exactly what we were doing. We knew that there needed to be other forms of cleaning services that needed to be met, and sanitizing and making sure that every employee of our clients were safe. And so we did a lot of disinfecting. We expanded our territory throughout California. And we were trying to meet the needs of our clients. Many other organizations try to get rich quick, and they started trying to help anybody and anybody. But my goal was to make sure my employees were safe, right? Make sure that we followed every COVID standard with the CDC and implemented anything that we had from ISSA or any knowledge that we can get from the higher ups in our industry to make sure that our protocols were solidly sharp, that we could make sure our clients were taken care of. And so our goal was to make sure every client associate was cared for tremendously. We were going to go in there and get the job done, and we were going to make sure that they were still in production. And we continued to do that, and we did that well enough that it just expanded us entirely as an organization. But in addition to that, we became a team that we were taking care of each other. And for us, it was like we weren't getting those hits that were having half of our employees out with COVID. We were just handling it with every measure in place to make sure that everybody was solidly taken care of, and there was safe mechanisms and measures there to follow our mission. It was like finally, so now we're put into a place that we said this all these years. Now they're going to hold us to it. And we were able to say, this is exactly what we're here for. This is what our philosophy is, to provide clean, healthy services for an environment, to provide a healthy environment for our clients. And it's still the same philosophy, still the same thing, but we do believe that we are truly a cleaning solution for anybody who hires us as our clients, that they know that the level that they're asking for is going to be tailored for them when it comes to cleaning. So we try to take services and we tailor them to their actual need that they need for their organizations, small or big. And that's the thing about us. I think it's just the flexibility that we've been able to provide.
That's great. So through your work on the La Verne College of Business Advisory Board and with the National Latino Business Women Association, what do you think is the future of entrepreneurship? Like, what do you believe that will look like?
This is an incredible time to say I want to be an entrepreneur, because there's so many different components that are actually in a person that has that dream of being an entrepreneur, right? Now, technology has driven things, but sustainability and the social impact all combined together really truly makes a difference for entrepreneurs that are innovative and want a difference to make something better for us and the world. So I feel like if you have that dream, this is the best time, because there are resources there and you can reach out for them. Just don't let that dream just go away in your sleep. Bring it out and really get to the components, like, what do you want to do? And maybe you don't have all the answers, and not everybody has a rich uncle, because believe me, I didn't. But what it is putting the things in place and finding out what resources could help you out. And sometimes it's just with your network. Sometimes it's just that you're going into an event and you're talking to somebody and both components actually work together. Like, maybe you don't have the dollar figure, but that individual may. And so then you're working together. Or maybe now it's like, in these days and ages, people are partnering up within their organizations. So there's someone that does absolutely great marketing, and there's another person that does great advocacy, and they're getting together and they're becoming another business. So it's just finding those puzzles and putting them together, those components that are going to make you become successful. And the more innovative you are, it's going to help that growth process much sooner. So if you're in that base that you say, I want to be in business, I want my own business. And many times you say that being a business owner gives you freedom. So a lot of times it doesn't, but it's great to be able to say that you could control your own time, right? So I would say the resources here at the University of La Verne actually help out any individual that is here to go to school, because any student here could actually be an entrepreneur. Because what they get here is so far beyond what you could strive to get in any institution of education. Here, there's so many things that are components. I mean, most students here are actually juggling so many things in a day, right? You know, they're going to school. Like you guys were telling me what you guys are doing, and I was like, oh my God, your schedules are pretty filled with many things. That's what an entrepreneur does. They're filling their schedule with so many things to making sure that everything is actually be done right, and you're actually moving to the next level of success. So if you're saying, hey, do you think I could become an entrepreneur, Michael? You actually definitely can, because you're already juggling all these tools and hats already. So if that's something that any ULV student would say, could I do it? Should I do it? You know, you're working, you're going to school, you're handling all your curriculum activities, and you're having fun here, and you're studying, and you're getting just awesome grades. Yeah, you could do it. You got accepted to ULV, so that's possible.
Awesome.
Well,
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's great advice for ULV students that are in business, that are, you know, interested in entrepreneurship, or like you said, not even in business, but just interested in that field. And I was gonna ask, what skills do you think that they should look to develop if they're interested in entrepreneurship?
You know, definitely now's the time. Learn about finances. That's going to get you 2 steps ahead of the game. So, and the components are here. So get knowledge on financing. If you're not too much in being an introvert, start creating a way to develop your network and get to know more people and who you could support. And also give yourself. I mean, it's not about just you. And if you're coming into being an entrepreneur because you want to get rich, that's not the way to go. It's actually what value you could provide to your community or what resources could really change and innovate the world. So I would say finances, learn great communication skills, and be resilient and accept if it doesn't work out the first time, right? So you didn't make it. It didn't happen. You didn't get it. It's okay. You were given that didn't make it, couldn't happen, or shouldn't happen at that moment to get you stronger, to build resilience. So the next time it's yours and it's a better opportunity. So think of things like that. Don't become the victim when you don't achieve what you wanted to achieve, or you're not the smartest individual in the classroom, because it's not about that. You're gaining the same knowledge that you're going to take out there, and you're going to build you. And that's the most important thing. Build you to be a better individual for us for tomorrow, for your society for tomorrow, for your community. We need leaders. We need leaders that are strong, innovative, and good communicators that are really going to say, I could take this problem and solve it and be able to make an impact. And I think that's what makes us different. That's what makes the difference as an entrepreneur, because we want to build solutions. We want to provide the service that our clients could say, I need to go back to this organization because they do a dynamic job. Everything they said they were going to do, they did. They gave me the word that they were going to do it. And you know what? They were even so flexible to take away some of my other problems. And that's what you want to do. Like I said, you want to be an impact.
That is great advice. Thank you.
That is great. And I was curious, you know, Julissa and I are both part of the College of Business here at La Verne. And I've had plenty of interactions with colleagues who are women who want to go into entrepreneurship, start their own business. I'm curious, from your perspective, what advice would you have for women who are coming to La Verne or really going to any other university who have aspirations to start their own business in the future?
I think for women, and that's probably what I should have said, because I see there's a lot of innovation that a lot of women are now jumping into it, right? I would say one thing that I would say every woman that's jumping into this pot of entrepreneurship is confidence. If it's there and you have an idea or a service that you know that others need, don't let anybody tear you down. Don't let anybody tear you down. Have the confidence when you walk in a room and display your worth. Go in there into the trenches and display what you could do. The more you're doing what you say you're going to do, and the more you have the integrity and do it and not expect anything but what is righteously what it is. What I mean, don't inflate your numbers. Be, gracious in the price and be honest and trustworthy. All those things with confidence, you're going to have a Rolodex of clients at the very end. The way you want to be treated is the way you should treat others in business. And that's knowing who they are and getting to know how you could take care of them in business and how you can help them, support them in their need and in their own journey. So I would say for women, knock on the doors, be confident, know who you are, know your worth, and just go out there and let people know what you're doing. The more you say it, the more you actually believe it. And if you tell a ton of friends, guess what? those friends are the ones that are going to be the people that are marketing your business. You don't know how many times I've had from people from the University of La Verne that have called me up. And a couple of times it was like, hey, I was at the gas station. I saw one of your vans. Is that your van or did someone steal it? Because it's late at night. And I'm like, what are you doing up at 2:30 in the morning? And that's my van, because my people, they work 24/7. We're there 24 hours, 7 days a week to provide that service that is needed, and which is cleaning. So after was like chuckles, I get these text messages with my vehicles that are, a couple of vehicles going down the freeway, and they text me, hey, I saw your vehicle here. I had another one just a couple of weeks ago. A friend sent me something and said, oh my God, you're cleaning at this university? And I was like, no, calm down. But you know what? The funny thing is that they start seeing it and they start marketing you too. They start telling their friends. And then it's like, so-and-so told me to give you a call because maybe you could help me out in this. And then later now your network starts expanding. And that's the fun thing, because it started from the very beginning. You know those people already, but now they're selling for you.
Right. So confidence, expanding your network, those are two big.
And resilience. Never accept when someone says no.
That's awesome. I really appreciate all the information and advice that you've given us. Well, Anita, like I said, we can't say thank you enough for not only your time, but also, sharing your journey with us. And also thank you to everyone who's watching. If you want to learn more about the College of Business here at the University of La Verne, we encourage you to visit us online at business.laverne.edu. But until then, thank you for watching.